turn off the TV so
This is Austin. Don't do that either.
No, you should cross it like this.
Sit further back on the couch, but sit up straight. I can't. Don't
Austin,
do that.
be yourself, buddy.
Yeah, just be yourself. Julia, be a better
No
version
more.
of yourself.
You should
He was doing like a plie over here.
That is not a plie.
You should turn off the
Show
TV
him.
so you don't get distracted.
Hey, are you Austin Bennett?
Yes, I am, but Luis, you live here, so you know that. But anyway, since this is for Bachelor Nation, I guess just let's welcome you to Dallas, Texas, and come on in. So this is the kitchen. This is where I spend a lot of my time cooking and the like. I like to make pizzas since that is especially the one food that I'm really good at, thanks to my previous roommate Chris for teaching me how to do it correctly. But anyway, I'd like to show you how to make that pizza. So, pizza making tutorial. This is my favorite dish to make. And thanks to the wonders of time and editing, I can actually make that for you right now. So I have this over here, ready to go. Some dough. And we're going to start this. I heated this up at about 500 degrees so that the dough can start to warm up very quickly. So from here, I like to douse in a little bit of olive oil. Next, we will do the pizza sauce from the wonderful establishment that is Trader Joe's. And finally, we have some cheese, also from Trader Joe's. Alright, so next is really up to the discretion of whoever I'm making this pizza for, but I like to add, not condiments per se, but just some other types of things that I think go well with pizza. So we're going to start with what people like the most about my pizza, and that's the garlic crust. Some red chili flakes. Alright, so from there, just put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to cut the middle ground to 12.5. Alexa, set timer for 12.5 minutes. Alright, so we'll come back when it's time. Alright, should be all good to go. Let's check this baby out. That's the stuff right there. Another fine Austin Bennett creation. So let's transfer this back to the wood block for cooling purposes. Yes, I am doing this with the cutting. And put the plate down. And so another fine Austin Bennett pizza creation. So now that the cook is done, let's get back to the tour. So that's my most impressive dish, I would say, and many people tend to like it as well because they do like that garlic crust. I would share some of it with you right now, but I can't. I guess we'll just have to save that for when we actually meet in person later on down the line. Anyway, come on to the living room. So, this is the living room. This is where my roommate and I tend to spend a lot of our time because a lot of our passions are in this room right here. So, I like to watch movies, I like to collect movies, and most of my collection is digital now, so I can't show you it all on screen. All the game stuff that we like to play is over here as well, along with board games that we have on this shelf right here. And then some of our other passions are also on this shelf as well. So we got the music that we like to listen to, a little small in the collection right now just because it's all records, but we're working on that. Games we like to play, puzzle we have been trying to do because it's 1500. The record player we just got, some of the movies that I actually do have physically, and then I know there's a lot of Star Wars books here, but my aunt works for Random House Publishing, and they publish all the Star Wars books, so she gets the hookups on those, and then some other books that we like to read, and various other things that we like to do in the living room together. But anyway, on to the good part. Let's go to my bedroom. Welcome to what I like to call my favorite room in the house, the room that I actually do spend a lot of time because of sleeping. And it's an area that I can really display my passions and my likes and all these other things. Like for instance, this poster of old school Hollywood in Los Angeles for my love of movies. And I just love that entire culture of making films and reading up trivia on that and all the like and such. And then here we have my two favorite teams, the Dodgers and the Lakers. They don't have a Rams one out there yet because they don't have one for the Rams yet because they just moved to Los Angeles. But rest assured there will be one up there, and it's a nice way to show my favorite teams because being in Texas, like granted they are Los Angeles teams, so there are fans here, but it's fun to root for teams that are not in the area you live in because you're not conforming to the area just to be a fan of that team or whatnot. And then below that we have the coordinates to Newport Beach. Now, I'm from Irvine, but Bed Bath & Beyond did not have a plastered wood poster for Irvine, California with the coordinates on it, so I had to settle for Newport Beach. It's just right down the street from Irvine, so it worked for me. Anyway, over here. And here we have my most prized accomplishment in my life so far, my master's degree from Texas Christian University, right down the road here in Fort Worth. Great university, really loved my time there, and hope more people can go there in the future. And then finally over here we have just a wood plank that says home, but instead of the O, it's the state of California, because it's home to me. And it was kind of a riff on some of my Texas friends because they all have the one that says home, and the Texas outline works a little bit better. So I thought, oh, well, it doesn't work that well, but it still says that it's home to me. So finally, let me show you my prized collection, the thing that I'm most proud of. So down here, we have my shoe collection. I wouldn't really call it a collection because I'm not a collector, but it's still an assortment of shoes. I like to not wear the same shoe multiple days in a row, so you will not find me in the same shoe 2 days in a row, unless that pair is a pair of Allbirds, because then you will find me in a pair of those 2 days in a row. So that's that. So come over here.
Sorry to interrupt. Before we start, there's a weird reflection behind you, man.
Okay. Hey Google, turn off the bedroom. Love technology sometimes. Anyway, so here's the very first wall I put up in my room once I moved down here to Texas because it really shows all the people that have meant the most to me in my life and where I've been and where I'm going. So here we have my plates that I've had for my cars my car in Colorado and in California. And I guess with these, it's a good segue into asking the question that I know is going to be asked the most of me is where would I do the hometown date? With me currently living in Dallas, my parents living in Colorado, and my home being in California. And doing a hometown in California would be a little bit too cliche, I guess if you want to call it that, or what have you. But I feel like doing my hometown in Colorado would be a great way to show who I am because love to ski, love to snowboard, love to really just experience new towns and small towns. And so in Durango, where you can take the train from Durango to Silverton, we can go up to Purgatory to ski, we can go hiking up in the mountains, what have you. There's so much to do in Colorado, and I feel like Colorado is a great way to really show who I am, and that's, you can take the California boy out of California, but you can't take the California out of the boy. And I'll always be that California boy, no matter where I am. And I feel like I can really show that I can be myself and really anywhere that I can be at that time. And from there, I guess we can see my favorite actress, Daisy Ridley, Rey from Star Wars. I got this poster signed by her, and my friend suggested that I framed it, so I did. And then here we have my alumni frame for TCU. And then up here is actually where I have the most influence on my life. So up here we actually have some of the people that have meant the most to me in my life so far. And that'd be my friends and my family. And I'm a big proponent in making sure that you have your blood family. Like, they're important to you, but it's also very important to have what I like to call your found family, because it's the people that you found on your own and that they weren't given to you essentially when you were born. And because those people will also go to war for you, will die for you, what have you. It's like they'll tell you when something needs to change, whatever. And I really think that some of my friends up here, they've been that for me in my life. And my family included, as we saw at Thanksgiving last year. And so up here, I guess, is also to answer the question of, have I ever been in love before? And yes, I have. And the reason why this picture of her is still up there is because she was involved in my friend group back in college. There was about 10 of us. Luis was one of them. Thank you, Luis. And it's basically like getting rid of a part of my life that's very hard to do. And so our story began in middle school when we sat next to each other in PE class. We were the tryhards in the class essentially, and we would always compete with each other, push each other to be better runners, what have you. Granted, it's middle school PE, but it was still fun to compete with them because most of our class just didn't really care at the time. And I always kind of sensed that I had feelings for her, but never really acted on those feelings since we were about to go off to different high schools, and then, as you know, college always gets in the way when people could go across the country or stay in the state, what have you. But so high school went by and didn't really talk all that much. And then one day I was on Facebook and I saw that she had accepted an offer to TCU a little bit after I did. And I was like, wow, we're going to the same school. That's really cool, actually. But by then, those feelings that I had in middle school were kind of dissipated. But anyway, so we met up, we hung out, and had a little bit of fun hanging out with other friends and such throughout freshman year. And then finally one day she asked me to her sorority's spring formal dance. So gladly accepted. And then from there it was a story of us being on and off for about the rest of college. And then finally during my 5th year at TCU, we decided to actually go for real, be serious. And so from there, that then transponded to what I like to call my favorite year of college, because I got to hang out with my friends more, and then I got to be with the girl that I loved at the time. But there was always this inkling that something was hanging over our heads. And that was, I had already accepted an offer to return to Los Angeles for my job, being a public accountant. So we kind of parted ways at the end of my master's year, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, like I was missing out on something. And then I was wrestling with it all summer, and so finally I decided to give it a go all out with it, and move back to Texas. So I did. I'm back here in Texas, but unfortunately that relationship only lasted a week and a half after I got back to Texas. And because she was a little bit too afraid of the commitment that I was putting into the relationship. And so I was down for a little bit, but then thankfully, thanks to the people up here, not her though, I was able to pick myself back up and basically live a prosperous life. And then I also was able to get out of my shell a little bit with my college friends and meet some of the friends that I have for work and these photo streams. And these are the friends at work that really have helped make Dallas a home, I guess you could call it that. And they're also the people that helped me realize that this is a show that I really wanted to do. So thanks to them for the nominations, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person.